The Paleolithic Age, also known as the Old Stone Age, represents the earliest and longest period of human history. Spanning from approximately 2.6 million years ago to around 10,000 BCE, this era marks the beginning of human survival strategies, technological innovation, and social development. During the Paleolithic Age, humans lived as hunter-gatherers, relying on hunting wild animals and gathering edible plants to survive. This way of life shaped human biology, culture, and cognition in profound ways that continue to influence modern societies. The term Paleolithic originates from the Greek words palaios, meaning old, and lithos, meaning stone. This name reflects the primary characteristic of the era, the use of stone tools. These tools, though simple by modern standards, represented a revolutionary advancement that enabled early humans to hunt more effectively, process food, and protect themselves from predators. The Paleolithic Age is traditionally divided into three phases: the Lower Paleolithic, Middle Paleolithic, and Upper Paleolithic, each marked by increasing technological and social complexity. Hunter-gatherer societies were highly adaptive and mobile. Unlike later agricultural communities, Paleolithic humans did not settle permanently in one location. Instead, they followed seasonal patterns, moving in response to climate changes and the availability of food resources. This nomadic lifestyle required deep knowledge of the natural environment, animal behavior, and plant cycles. Survival depended on cooperation, shared knowledge, and strong social bonds. Understanding the Paleolithic Age is essential for understanding humanity itself. Nearly 99% of human history took place during this era. Modern human traits, such as cooperation, creativity, communication, and problem-solving, emerged during this time. The Paleolithic Age laid the foundation for later developments, including agriculture, permanent settlements, and complex civilizations. The time frame and geography of the Paleolithic Age. The Paleolithic Age began with the first use of stone tools by early hominins in Africa. Archaeological evidence suggests that early species such as Homo habilis and Homo erectus were among the first toolmakers. Over time, humans spread from Africa into Europe, Asia, and eventually other parts of the world. This migration was driven by environmental pressures, population growth, and the search for new food sources. Different regions experienced the Paleolithic Age in unique ways due to variations in climate, geography, and available resources. In Africa, early humans benefited from diverse ecosystems that supported hunting and gathering. In colder regions such as Europe, survival required innovations such as clothing made from animal skins and shelters built to withstand harsh winters. Despite these differences, hunter-gatherer societies across the world shared common characteristics, including mobility, reliance on nature, and social cooperation. The end of the Paleolithic Age is generally marked by the retreat of the last ice age and the emergence of agriculture during the Neolithic Revolution. However, the transition was gradual and varied by region. Some hunter-gatherer communities continued their traditional way of life for thousands of years alongside early farming societies. Characteristics of hunter-gatherer life. Hunter-gatherer societies were small, typically consisting of extended family groups or bands of 20 to 50 individuals. These groups were egalitarian, meaning that resources were shared relatively equally, and leadership was informal. Decisions were often made collectively, based on experience and knowledge rather than strict authority. Men and women both played crucial roles in survival. While hunting large animals was often associated with men, women contributed significantly through gathering plants, roots, fruits, and nuts, which provided a stable and reliable food source. This division of labor was flexible rather than rigid, allowing groups to adapt to changing conditions. Life during the Paleolithic Age was challenging but not necessarily miserable. Although early humans faced dangers such as predators, injuries, and disease, archaeological evidence suggests that hunter-gatherers enjoyed periods of leisure, social interaction, and creative expression. Cave paintings, carvings, and musical instruments indicate a rich cultural life that extended beyond mere survival. Importance of the Paleolithic Age. The Paleolithic Age represents humanity's first successful adaptation to the natural world. Through trial and error, early humans learned to control fire, create tools, communicate ideas, and form social networks. These innovations allowed humans to survive in diverse environments and laid the groundwork for future progress. Studying the Paleolithic Age helps historians and anthropologists understand how human behavior evolved.
Many modern traits, such as cooperation, storytelling, and emotional expression, can be traced back to this era. By examining hunter-gatherer societies, we gain insight into the origins of human culture and the deep connection between humans and nature.
The origins of hunter-gatherer societies lie at the very beginning of human existence. Long before the development of agriculture, permanent settlements, or written language, early humans depended entirely on their ability to hunt animals and gather wild plants for survival. This subsistence strategy was not a temporary phase, but a highly successful way of life that sustained humanity for hundreds of thousands of years. Understanding the origins of hunter-gatherer societies is essential to understanding how humans adapted biologically, socially, and culturally to their environments. Hunter-gatherer societies emerged as a direct response to environmental conditions, evolutionary pressures, and technological innovation. Early humans faced constant challenges, including climate fluctuations, food scarcity, and predation. Through cooperation, experimentation, and learning, they developed strategies that allowed them to thrive in diverse ecosystems. These societies formed the foundation upon which all later human developments were built. Evolutionary background of early humans. The story of hunter-gatherer societies begins with human evolution in Africa. Early hominins, such as Australopithecus, lived more than 4 million years ago and relied primarily on plant-based diets. Over time, evolutionary changes, such as upright walking, bipedalism, increased brain size, and improved manual dexterity, allowed later species to exploit new food sources. The emergence of the genus Homo marked a critical turning point. Species such as Homo habilis and Homo erectus demonstrated greater intelligence and problem-solving abilities. These early humans began to manufacture stone tools, which expanded their dietary options by enabling them to process meat and tough plant materials. Access to higher-calorie foods, especially animal protein, supported brain growth and further cognitive development. As brain size increased, early humans became more capable of planning, cooperation, and communication. These traits were essential for coordinated hunting and shared food consumption, both of which are hallmarks of hunter-gatherer societies. Environmental pressures and adaptation. Hunter-gatherer societies did not arise in isolation. They were shaped by the environments in which early humans lived. During the Paleolithic age, the Earth experienced dramatic climate changes, including repeated ice ages. These fluctuations altered landscapes, vegetation, and animal populations, forcing humans to adapt continuously. In open savannas, early humans hunted large herbivores such as antelope and bison, while in forested regions they gathered fruits, nuts, and roots. Coastal groups exploited marine resources, including fish and shellfish. This environmental diversity encouraged flexibility and innovation, as no single survival strategy worked in all settings. Adaptation required detailed knowledge of local ecosystems. Hunter-gatherers learned to track animals, identify edible plants, and predict seasonal changes. This ecological intelligence was passed down through generations, forming the basis of early cultural traditions and collective memory. Development of hunting practices. Hunting played a central role in the emergence of hunter-gatherer societies. Early humans initially scavenged animal carcasses left behind by predators. Over time, however, they developed tools and strategies that allowed them to hunt animals directly. Stone tools such as hand axes, spears, and later projectile weapons increased hunting efficiency and reduced risk. Successful hunting required cooperation. Large animals could not be taken down by individuals acting alone. Groups coordinated their efforts, using communication, planning, and division of labor. Some members drove animals toward ambush points, while others delivered the killing blows. This cooperation strengthened social bonds and reinforced the importance of group survival over individual gain. Hunting also had social and symbolic significance. In many Paleolithic societies, hunting success was associated with status, skill, and experience. Stories, rituals, and artistic representations often centered on animals and hunting scenes, reflecting their importance in daily life and belief systems. Gathering as a stable food source. While hunting captured the imagination, gathering provided a more reliable source of nutrition.
Women, children, and elderly group members often participated in gathering activities, collecting fruits, berries, seeds, nuts, and edible roots. These foods were available year-round and required less risk than hunting large animals. Gathering contributed significantly to daily caloric intake and ensured food security during periods when hunting was unsuccessful. Knowledge of plant properties, including medicinal uses and seasonal availability, was extensive and sophisticated. This botanical knowledge represented an early form of science, based on observation and experimentation. The balance between hunting and gathering varied depending on environment and season. This flexibility allowed hunter-gatherer societies to adapt to changing conditions and avoid overexploitation of resources. Social structures and cooperation. The origins of hunter-gatherer societies are closely tied to the development of social organization. Early human groups relied on cooperation to survive. Sharing food reduced the risk of starvation, while collective child-rearing increased the chances of offspring survival. These societies were typically egalitarian, with minimal social hierarchy. Leadership was based on skill, experience, or wisdom, rather than inherited power. Decisions were often made through consensus, reinforcing group cohesion. Kinship played a central role in social organization. Family ties structured responsibilities, resource distribution, and social obligations. Over time, symbolic systems such as language and ritual strengthened group identity and cooperation. Cognitive and cultural foundations. Hunter-gatherer societies fostered significant cognitive and cultural development. The need to plan hunts, remember resource locations, and navigate landscapes encouraged advanced memory and problem-solving skills. Communication evolved to convey complex information about environment, danger, and social relationships. Cultural practices emerged as shared beliefs, traditions, and artistic expressions. These practices help transmit knowledge and reinforce social norms. The origins of storytelling, music, and ritual can be traced back to hunter-gatherer societies of the Paleolithic age. Conclusion. The origins of hunter-gatherer societies represent a remarkable chapter in human history. Through adaptation, cooperation, and innovation, early humans developed a way of life that sustained them for millennia. These societies laid the biological, social, and cultural foundations of humanity. By understanding their origins, we gain insight into the resilience, creativity, and interconnectedness that define the human species.
Tools and stone technology were among the most defining features of the Paleolithic age. The ability to create and use tools separated early humans from other animals and allowed them to manipulate their environment in unprecedented ways. Stone tools were not merely objects for survival. They represented the beginning of human technology, innovation, and cultural transmission. Through stone tools, Paleolithic hunter-gatherers improved their efficiency in hunting, food processing, shelter construction, and defense. The development of stone technology was a gradual process that reflected increasing cognitive abilities, manual skill, and social learning. Over hundreds of thousands of years, tools became more refined, specialized, and diverse. These technological advancements played a crucial role in human survival and expansion across different environments during the Paleolithic age. Origins of stone tool technology. The earliest known stone tools date back to approximately 2.6 million years ago and were discovered in East Africa. These tools are associated with early members of the genus Homo, particularly Homo habilis. Known as Old Wan tools, they consisted of simple stone flakes struck from a core to create sharp edges. Despite their simplicity, these tools were highly effective for cutting meat, breaking bones, and processing plant materials. The creation of stone tools required planning and intention. Early humans had to select appropriate raw materials, such as flint or obsidian, and strike stones at specific angles to produce sharp edges. This process demonstrates early problem-solving skills and an understanding of cause and effect. Tool-making knowledge was passed down through observation and imitation, forming one of the earliest examples of cultural learning. The Lower Paleolithic tool traditions. During the Lower Paleolithic period, stone technology became more advanced and standardized. One of the most significant developments was the Acheulean tool tradition, associated primarily with Homo erectus. Acheulean tools included hand axes, cleavers, and picks, which were symmetrical and carefully shaped. Hand axes were multifunctional tools,
used for cutting meat, scraping hides, digging roots, and woodworking. Their widespread distribution across Africa, Europe, and Asia suggests a shared technological tradition among early human populations. The consistency in their design indicates that early humans had mental templates for tool shapes, reflecting increased cognitive complexity. Lower Paleolithic tools also show evidence of planning for future use. Some tools were transported over long distances, suggesting that humans recognized the value of specific raw materials and prepared for future needs. Middle Paleolithic innovations. The Middle Paleolithic period saw significant improvements in tool-making techniques, particularly among species such as Homo neanderthalensis and early Homo sapiens. One of the most important innovations was the leveloid technique, a method of preparing a stone core so that flakes of predetermined shape could be removed. This technique allowed for greater control and efficiency, producing tools that were sharper and more standardized. Middle Paleolithic toolkits included scrapers, points, and blades, designed for specific tasks such as hide processing and spear making. These tools were essential for survival in colder climates, where clothing and shelter were critical. The increasing specialization of tools reflects a deeper understanding of materials and task requirements. It also suggests more complex social structures, as tool production may have involved skilled individuals who taught others within the group. Upper Paleolithic tool complexity. The Upper Paleolithic period marked a technological revolution in stone tool production. Tools became smaller, lighter, and more specialized. Blade technology allowed long, thin flakes to be removed from stone cores, maximizing efficiency and reducing waste. In addition to stone, Paleolithic humans began using materials such as bone, antler, and ivory. These materials were used to create needles, harpoons, fishhooks, and decorative objects. Composite tools, which combined stone points with wooden shafts, greatly improved hunting effectiveness. Upper Paleolithic tools reflect advanced planning, creativity, and experimentation. The diversity of tools suggests a wide range of activities, including fishing, sewing, carving, and artistic expression. Tools and hunting efficiency. Stone tools transformed hunting practices during the Paleolithic age. Early spears and later projectile weapons allowed hunters to attack animals from a distance, reducing the risk of injury. Sharp stone points increased the lethality of weapons, making hunting more efficient and reliable. Tools also enabled better processing of animal carcasses. Knives and scrapers were used to butcher meat, remove hides, and extract marrow from bones. These activities maximized nutritional returns and reduced waste, which was essential in environments where food resources were unpredictable. The use of tools required coordination and communication. Hunting success depended not only on individual skill, but also on group strategy and cooperation, reinforcing social bonds within hunter-gatherer communities. Stone tools and daily life. Beyond hunting, stone tools played a vital role in daily Paleolithic life. Scrapers were used to clean animal hides, which were then turned into clothing and shelter coverings. Burins and awls were used for carving wood and bone, enabling the construction of tools, containers, and ornaments. Fire-making tools allowed humans to cook food, stay warm, and protect themselves from predators. Cooking improved digestion and increased the nutritional value of food, supporting brain development and overall health. Stone tools also contributed to artistic and symbolic activities. Engraving tools were used to carve patterns and figures, reflecting early forms of artistic expression and communication. Cultural transmission of technology. Tool-making knowledge was not instinctive, it had to be learned. The transmission of stone technology required teaching, observation, and practice. This process strengthened social relationships and contributed to the development of language and symbolic communication. Different regions developed distinct tool traditions, reflecting local resources and cultural preferences. These variations provide archaeologists with valuable insights into migration patterns, cultural interaction, and technological evolution. Conclusion. Tools and stone technology were central to the success of Paleolithic hunter-gatherer societies. From simple stone flakes to complex composite tools, technological innovation allowed early humans to adapt to diverse environments and challenges. Stone tools represent the earliest expression of human ingenuity and creativity, laying the foundation for all later technological advancements. Through tools, Paleolithic humans shaped not only their environment, but also the course of human history.
Hunting strategies and food gathering practices were at the heart of Paleolithic hunter-gatherer societies. Survival depended on the ability to locate, obtain, and process food in environments that were often unpredictable and challenging. Unlike later agricultural societies, Paleolithic humans relied entirely on wild resources, requiring extensive ecological knowledge, cooperation, and adaptability. Hunting and gathering were not random activities, but carefully planned strategies shaped by environment, technology, and social organization. These subsistence strategies supported human populations for hundreds of thousands of years and played a crucial role in shaping physical evolution, cognitive development, and cultural traditions. Understanding Paleolithic hunting and gathering provides valuable insight into how early humans interacted with nature and organized their daily lives. The role of hunting in Paleolithic life. Hunting was a vital component of the Paleolithic diet, providing high-calorie meat, fat, and essential nutrients. Early hunter-gatherers hunted a wide variety of animals, ranging from small game such as birds and rabbits to large mammals like deer, bison, mammoths, and wild cattle. The choice of prey depended on local ecosystems, seasonal availability, and technological capability. Large game hunting was particularly significant, as a single successful hunt could provide enough food for an entire group over several days or weeks. However, it also carried considerable risks. Injuries, failed hunts, and encounters with dangerous animals posed constant threats. As a result, hunting strategies evolved to minimize risk while maximizing efficiency. Hunting also reinforced social bonds and group identity. Successful hunts were often communal efforts, followed by shared meals that strengthened cooperation and mutual dependence. Cooperative hunting techniques. Cooperation was essential for effective hunting during the Paleolithic Age. Early humans developed complex group strategies that relied on communication, planning, and coordination. One common technique was persistence hunting, in which hunters chased prey over long distances until the animal became exhausted. This method took advantage of human endurance and thermoregulation. Another widespread strategy was ambush hunting. Hunters used knowledge of animal behavior and landscape features to trap prey in narrow passages, near water sources, or at cliff edges. In some cases, animals were driven off cliffs in mass hunting events, allowing groups to obtain large quantities of meat at once. These cooperative techniques required trust and shared understanding among group members. Individuals had to perform specific roles, such as trackers, drivers, or spear throwers. Such organization reflects advanced social intelligence and communication skills. Weapons and hunting tools. Technological advancements significantly improved hunting success. Early Paleolithic hunters used simple wooden spears with sharpened tips. Over time, stone points were added to spears, increasing their effectiveness. During the Upper Paleolithic period, more sophisticated weapons such as spear throwers, atlatls, and eventually bows and arrows were developed. Projectile weapons allowed hunters to strike from a distance, reducing the risk of injury. These tools required precision, practice, and understanding of physics, such as force and trajectory. The development of hunting weapons represents a major leap in human ingenuity and strategic thinking. In addition to weapons, tools such as knives and scrapers were essential for processing meat and hides. Efficient butchering ensured that no part of the animal went to waste, maximizing nutritional return. Food gathering as a primary resource. While hunting often receives more attention, gathering was equally important, if not more so, for Paleolithic survival. Gathered foods included fruits, berries, nuts, seeds, tubers, and leafy plants. In many environments, these resources provided a stable and predictable source of nutrition throughout the year. Gathering required extensive botanical knowledge. Hunter-gatherers learned to distinguish between edible and poisonous plants, understand seasonal growth patterns, and locate reliable food sources. This knowledge was passed down through generations and formed a crucial part of cultural heritage. Women played a central role in gathering activities, though participation was flexible and varied by group. Children also learned gathering skills from a young age, contributing to food collection while gaining ecological knowledge. Seasonal patterns and mobility. Paleolithic hunter-gatherers organized their subsistence activities around seasonal cycles. Different foods were available at different times of the year, requiring groups to move periodically. This mobility reduced pressure on local resources and allowed ecosystems to regenerate. During certain seasons, groups focused on hunting migratory animals, while at other times they relied more heavily on plant foods or fishing. Seasonal camps were established near water sources, animal migration routes, or areas rich in edible plants. This seasonal mobility required careful planning and environmental awareness. Knowledge of past conditions helped groups anticipate future opportunities and challenges, demonstrating advanced cognitive abilities. Fishing and coastal resources. In regions near rivers, lakes, and coastlines, fishing and marine resource collection played an important role in Paleolithic diets.
Fish, shellfish, and marine mammals provided high-quality proteins and fats. Archaeological evidence shows the use of fishing tools such as harpoons, hooks, and nets made from natural fibers. Coastal environments were particularly rich and predictable, allowing some hunter-gatherer groups to reduce mobility and establish semi-permanent camps. The exploitation of aquatic resources reflects the adaptability and innovation of Paleolithic societies. Food sharing and social bonds. Food sharing was a defining feature of Paleolithic hunter-gatherer societies. Meat from large animals was distributed among group members, reinforcing social equality and cooperation. Sharing reduced individual risk and ensured group survival during periods of scarcity. This practice also had social and symbolic meaning. Shared meals strengthened relationships, reinforced cultural norms, and facilitated communication. Food sharing likely played a role in the development of empathy, reciprocity, and moral behavior. Nutritional impact and human evolution. The combination of hunting and gathering had a profound impact on human evolution. Diets rich in proteins, fats, and diverse nutrients supported brain growth and physical endurance. Cooking, made possible by fire, further enhanced nutrition and digestion. These dietary advantages contributed to increased lifespan, reproductive success, and population expansion. The success of Paleolithic subsistence strategies demonstrates their effectiveness and sustainability over long periods of time. Conclusion: hunting strategies and food gathering practices were the foundation of Paleolithic hunter-gatherer societies. Through cooperation, innovation, and deep environmental knowledge, early humans developed highly effective subsistence systems. These strategies not only ensured survival, but also shaped social organization, cultural traditions, and human evolution. The legacy of Paleolithic hunting and gathering continues to influence modern understandings of nutrition, cooperation, and humanity's relationship with nature.
Social organization and daily life formed the backbone of Paleolithic hunter-gatherer societies. Survival in the harsh and unpredictable environments of the Paleolithic age depended not only on tools and food acquisition, but also on cooperation, social bonds, and shared responsibilities. Early humans lived in small, closely connected groups where social relationships shaped every aspect of daily life, from food sharing and child rearing to decision-making and cultural expression. Paleolithic social organization was flexible, adaptive, and largely egalitarian. These characteristics allowed hunter-gatherer groups to respond effectively to environmental changes and resource availability. By examining social structures and daily routines, we gain insight into the origins of human community, cooperation, and cultural identity. Group size and band structure. Paleolithic hunter-gatherers typically lived in small groups known as bands. These bands usually consisted of 20 to 50 individuals, often related by kinship or long-term social bonds. Small group size made it easier to coordinate activities, share resources, and move efficiently across landscapes. Bands were not isolated units. They maintained connections with neighboring groups through marriage, trade, and social gatherings. These interactions helped prevent inbreeding, facilitated the exchange of knowledge, and strengthened regional social networks. Group membership was fluid rather than fixed. Individuals could move between bands depending on marriage, resource availability, or social relationships. This flexibility reduced conflict and allowed groups to adapt to changing conditions. Egalitarian social structure. One of the most notable features of Paleolithic social organization was its egalitarian nature. Unlike later agricultural societies with rigid hierarchies, hunter-gatherer groups generally valued equality and cooperation. Resources such as food and tools were shared, and social status was based more on skill, experience, and contribution than on wealth or inheritance. Leadership was informal and situational. Individuals with expertise in hunting, healing, or environmental knowledge might temporarily guide group decisions, but authority was not permanent. This system reduced power imbalances and promoted group harmony. Egalitarianism played a crucial role in survival. Sharing resources ensured that all members, including children, elders, and the injured, were supported. This collective approach strengthened group cohesion and resilience. Division of labor. Daily life in Paleolithic societies involved a flexible division of labor based on age, skill, and physical ability. While men were often associated with hunting large game and women with gathering plant foods, these roles were not rigid. Both men and women participated in a range of activities, including food processing, tool making, and childcare.
Children learned skills through observation and participation. From a young age, they accompanied adults on gathering trips and learned to identify plants, track animals, and use tools. This experiential learning ensured the transmission of knowledge across generations. Elders played a vital role as knowledge keepers. Their experience and memory of past events, seasonal patterns, and survival strategies were invaluable to the group. Daily routines and activities. Daily life in the Paleolithic age was shaped by the constant need to secure food, maintain shelter, and protect the group. Mornings often began with planning activities, such as hunting, gathering, or relocating camps. These decisions were influenced by weather, animal movement, and resource availability. Much of the day was spent on subsistence activities, but hunter-gatherers also enjoyed periods of rest and social interaction. Archaeological and ethnographic evidence suggests that Paleolithic people had time for storytelling, tool-making, artistic expression, and play. Evenings were often spent around the fire, which served as a focal point for social life. Fire provided warmth, light, and protection, while also facilitating communication and bonding. Family life and child-rearing. Family relationships were central to Paleolithic social life. Extended families formed the core of social organization, with strong bonds between parents, children, siblings, and relatives. Child-rearing was a collective responsibility, with multiple adults contributing to care and education. This cooperative approach increased child survival rates and allowed parents to participate in subsistence activities. Children learned social norms, skills, and cultural traditions through interaction with the entire group. Play was an important part of childhood, helping children develop physical skills, creativity, and social understanding. Through play, children practiced hunting techniques, tool use, and cooperation. Shelter and camp life. Paleolithic shelters varied depending on environment and season. Temporary shelters made from branches, animal hides, and grasses were common in warmer regions, while more substantial structures were used in colder climates. In some areas, caves provided natural shelter. Camps were organized to support daily activities. Sleeping areas, food processing zones, and tool-making spaces were arranged to maximize efficiency and safety. Campsites were often reused seasonally, reflecting familiarity with the landscape. Camp life reinforced social bonds and cultural practices. Shared meals, rituals, and storytelling helped maintain group identity and continuity. Conflict resolution and cooperation. Conflict was inevitable in small, closely knit groups, but Paleolithic societies developed mechanisms to manage disputes. Egalitarian values, social norms, and kinship ties helped reduce tension. In some cases, individuals might leave a group temporarily or permanently to avoid conflict. Cooperation was emphasized over competition. Group survival depended on mutual support, trust, and shared responsibility. Acts of generosity and reciprocity strengthened social relationships and reinforced group norms. Cultural expression in daily life. Daily life in Paleolithic societies included cultural expression through art, music, and ritual. Personal ornaments, body decoration, and social objects suggest a strong sense of identity and belonging. These expressions were integrated into everyday activities rather than separate from them. Cultural practices helped transmit values, beliefs, and knowledge. They also provided emotional support and meaning, helping individuals cope with uncertainty and hardship. Conclusion. Social organization and daily life in Paleolithic hunter-gatherer societies were characterized by cooperation, flexibility, and deep social bonds. Egalitarian values, shared responsibilities, and collective child-rearing created resilient communities capable of thriving in diverse environments. These early social systems laid the foundation for human cooperation, culture, and social identity, shaping the course of human history.
Shelter, clothing, and environmental adaptation were essential components of survival during the Paleolithic Age. Hunter-gatherer societies lived in a wide range of environments, from warm savannas and dense forests to icy tundras and mountainous regions. Unlike later societies that modified landscapes extensively, Paleolithic humans adapted themselves to nature through innovation, mobility, and deep environmental knowledge. The ability to construct shelters, create clothing, and respond effectively to environmental challenges allowed early humans to expand beyond Africa and inhabit some of the most extreme regions on Earth. These adaptations reflect creativity, planning, and technological skill, highlighting the remarkable resilience of Paleolithic hunter-gatherers. Environmental challenges of the Paleolithic Age. The Paleolithic Age was marked by dramatic environmental changes. Repeated ice ages caused fluctuations in temperature, sea levels, and vegetation. Glaciers expanded and retreated, transforming landscapes and forcing humans to constantly adjust their survival strategies. Cold climates posed particular challenges, including hypothermia, limited food availability, and reduced daylight. In warmer regions, humans faced dangers such as drought, predators, and seasonal scarcity.
Survival required flexibility and an ability to exploit diverse resources. These environmental pressures drove innovation and encouraged the development of shelters and clothing suited to specific climates. Types of Paleolithic shelters. Paleolithic shelters varied widely depending on region, season, and available materials. In many areas, humans built temporary shelters using branches, leaves, grasses, and animal hides. These structures were lightweight and easy to dismantle, supporting a nomadic lifestyle. In colder regions, more substantial shelters were constructed. Some groups built dome-shaped huts using mammoth bones as frameworks, covered with animal skins. These shelters provided insulation and protection from harsh winds and snow. Caves and rock shelters were also commonly used when available. They offered natural protection and were often reused over generations. Evidence of hearths, tool-making areas, and art found in caves suggests that they served as important social and cultural spaces. Camp organization and seasonal use. Shelters were often part of larger camps designed to support daily activities. Campsites were strategically located near water sources, hunting grounds, or seasonal plant resources. The organization of camps reflected careful planning and environmental awareness. Many Paleolithic groups practiced seasonal mobility, returning to familiar camps at certain times of the year. This pattern allowed them to exploit resources efficiently while avoiding environmental degradation. Seasonal camps also reinforced cultural continuity, as knowledge of landscapes and survival strategies was passed down through repeated use of the same locations. Clothing and body protection. Clothing was a critical adaptation, especially in colder climates. Paleolithic humans used animal hides and furs to create garments that provided warmth and protection. Early clothing was likely draped or tied, but over time it became more fitted and complex. The invention of bone needles during the Upper Paleolithic period allowed for the sewing of tailored clothing. This innovation greatly improved insulation and mobility, enabling humans to survive in extremely cold environments. In addition to warmth, clothing provided protection from the sun, insects, and rough terrain. Body decoration, such as beads and pigments, suggests that clothing also played a role in social identity and cultural expression. Fire as a tool for adaptation. Fire was one of the most important technological breakthroughs of the Paleolithic age. Control of fire allowed humans to cook food, stay warm, and extend their activities into nighttime hours. Fire also provided protection from predators and facilitated social interaction. Hearths were central to Paleolithic camps, serving as gathering points for cooking, storytelling, and social bonding. The ability to maintain fire required skill and knowledge, including the selection of fuel and understanding of fire behavior. Fire transformed human diets by making food easier to digest and increasing nutritional value. This adaptation had long-term effects on health, energy levels, and brain development. Adaptation to cold environments. The expansion of humans into colder regions of Europe and Asia required significant adaptations. In addition to warm clothing and insulated shelters, Paleolithic humans developed hunting strategies suited to Ice Age animals such as reindeer, mammoths, and woolly rhinoceroses. Fat-rich diets helped provide energy and maintain body temperature. Seasonal hunting and food storage practices reduced the risk of starvation during harsh winters. These adaptations demonstrate the remarkable ability of Paleolithic humans to survive in extreme conditions through innovation and cooperation. Adaptation to warm and tropical environments. In warm and tropical regions, adaptation focused on managing heat, humidity, and seasonal rainfall. Shelters were often open and well ventilated, providing shade rather than insulation. Lightweight clothing or body paint helped protect against the sun and insects. Water management was critical in arid regions. Knowledge of water sources, seasonal rivers, and rainfall patterns was essential for survival. Plants and animals adapted to arid environments were important food sources. These strategies highlight the diversity of Paleolithic adaptations and the deep ecological knowledge possessed by Paleolithic hunter-gatherers. Cultural knowledge and environmental awareness. Adaptation to environment was not solely technological, it was also cultural. Knowledge of landscapes, weather patterns, animal behavior, and plant cycles was passed down through oral tradition, observation, and practice. This shared knowledge formed the basis of environmental stewardship. By moving seasonally and using resources sustainably, Paleolithic hunter-gatherers maintained balance with their surroundings. Cultural beliefs and rituals often reflect respect for nature, reinforcing sustainable practices and cultural identity. Conclusion. Shelter, clothing, and environmental adaptation were fundamental to the success of Paleolithic hunter-gatherer societies. Through innovation, mobility, and deep ecological knowledge, early humans adapted to some of the most challenging environments on Earth. These adaptations enabled human expansion across the globe and laid the foundation for later technological and cultural developments. The resilience and ingenuity of Paleolithic societies remain a testament to humanity's enduring ability to adapt and survive.
Art, symbolism, and belief systems reveal the inner world of Paleolithic hunter-gatherer societies. Beyond survival and technology, early humans developed ways to express ideas, emotions, and spiritual understanding through visual art, ritual objects, and symbolic behavior. These expressions demonstrate that Paleolithic people were not only skilled hunters and gatherers, but also deeply creative and thoughtful beings. The emergence of art and symbolic thinking during the Paleolithic Age marks a significant milestone in human cognitive and cultural evolution. Through art and ritual, early humans communicated shared values, reinforced social bonds, and sought to understand their relationship with nature and the unseen world. Origins of Paleolithic art. The earliest evidence of Paleolithic art dates back tens of thousands of years and is most prominently associated with the Upper Paleolithic period. Archaeological discoveries include cave paintings, carvings, engravings, and portable art objects. These creations required planning, skill, and abstract thinking, indicating advanced cognitive abilities. Paleolithic art was not created randomly. Many works were produced in specific locations, such as deep cave chambers, suggesting intentional placement and possible ritual significance. The effort required to access these spaces implies that art held deep meaning beyond decoration. The development of art reflects the growing capacity for symbolism, the ability to let objects, images, or actions represent ideas or beliefs. Cave paintings and rock art. Cave paintings are among the most famous examples of Paleolithic art. Sites such as Lascaux in France and Altamira in Spain feature detailed depictions of animals, including horses, bison, deer, and mammoths. These animals were often painted with remarkable realism and dynamic movement. The choice of animals is significant. Many of the depicted species were central to hunting and survival, suggesting a strong symbolic connection between art and subsistence. Some scholars believe cave paintings were linked to hunting magic or rituals intended to ensure successful hunts. Pigments were made from natural materials, such as ochre, charcoal, and minerals. Artists used brushes, fingers, and even blowing techniques to apply paint, demonstrating experimentation and technical skill. Portable art and personal ornamentation. In addition to cave art, Paleolithic hunter-gatherers created portable art objects. These included carved figurines, engraved stones, and decorated tools. One well-known example is the Venus figurines, small carvings of female forms with exaggerated features. These objects may have symbolized fertility, motherhood, or social identity. Personal ornaments such as beads made from shells, bones, and teeth were also common. These items likely served as markers of group identity, social status, or personal expression. Wearing ornaments suggests a sense of self-awareness and social differentiation. Portable art allowed symbolic expression to be carried and shared, reinforcing cultural traditions and group cohesion. Symbolism and meaning. Symbolism played a central role in Paleolithic belief systems. Symbolism allowed humans to communicate complex ideas, emotions, and values without words. Art, rituals, and objects functioned as shared symbols that strengthened group identity and continuity. Symbols may have represented animals, natural forces, ancestors, or spiritual beings. Repeated motifs across different regions suggest shared symbolic traditions and cultural exchange. Symbolic thinking also supported storytelling and myth-making, helping early humans explain natural phenomena and human experience. Rituals and spiritual beliefs. While Paleolithic belief systems cannot be fully reconstructed, archaeological evidence suggests the presence of rituals and spiritual practices. Burials with grave goods, such as tools and ornaments, indicate beliefs about life, death, and possibly an afterlife. Some burials show signs of care for the deceased, including the use of pigments and careful placement of the body. These practices suggest emotional attachment and respect, reflecting complex social and spiritual values. Rituals may have been performed to mark important life events, such as birth, death, and seasonal changes. These ceremonies helped maintain social order and provided meaning in an uncertain world. Shamanism and spiritual specialists. Many scholars propose that Paleolithic societies may have practiced forms of shamanism. Shamans, or spiritual specialists, were believed to communicate with the spirit world, heal the sick, and guide rituals. Evidence for this includes symbolic artifacts, animal-human hybrid imagery, and ritual spaces. Shamanism often involved altered states of consciousness, achieved through music, dance, or sensory deprivation. Such practices could explain the placement of art in deep, dark caves, where sensory experiences were intensified. These spiritual traditions highlight the integration of belief, art, and social life in Paleolithic societies. Art as social and cultural communication. Art and symbolism served as powerful tools for social communication. They transmitted knowledge, reinforced social norms, and strengthened group identity. Artistic traditions were passed down through generations, preserving cultural memory. Art also fostered cooperation and shared understanding. Group participation in artistic and ritual activities promoted unity and emotional connection. Through art, Paleolithic hunter-gatherers expressed their relationship with nature, animals, and each other, revealing a worldview deeply rooted in respect for the natural world. Cognitive significance of art and belief. The creation of art and symbolic systems reflects significant cognitive advancements. Abstract thinking, imagination, and symbolic communication are hallmarks of modern human cognition. These abilities enabled humans to plan for the future, cooperate in large groups, and create complex cultures. Art and belief systems likely played a role in emotional regulation and psychological resilience. By providing meaning and structure, they helped individuals cope with uncertainty, danger, and loss. Conclusion. Art, symbolism, and belief systems were integral to Paleolithic hunter-gatherer societies. Through creative expression and spiritual practices, early humans explored meaning, identity, and their place in the world. These cultural achievements represent a profound step in human evolution, laying the foundation for religion, art, and philosophy in later civilizations. The artistic and symbolic legacy of the Paleolithic age continues to inspire and inform our understanding of humanity.
Communication and the development of early language were among the most transformative achievements of Paleolithic hunter-gatherer societies. Effective communication allowed early humans to share knowledge, coordinate activities, strengthen social bonds, and transmit culture across generations. Long before written language, Paleolithic humans relied on spoken sounds, gestures, facial expressions, and symbolic systems to convey meaning. The emergence of language played a crucial role in human survival and evolution. It supported cooperation in hunting and gathering, facilitated social organization, and enabled the expression of abstract ideas, emotions, and beliefs. By examining communication in the Paleolithic age, we gain insight into the origins of human language and cognitive complexity. Biological foundations of language. The development of language was closely linked to biological evolution. Changes in brain structure, vocal anatomy, and auditory perception enabled early humans to produce and interpret a wide range of sounds. Increased brain size, particularly in areas associated with language processing, supported complex communication. The evolution of the vocal tract, including the lowering of the larynx, allowed for greater vocal flexibility. This anatomical change made it possible to produce varied sounds and tones, forming the basis of spoken language. While early forms of communication were likely limited, they represented a significant advancement over purely instinctive signals. Language development was gradual and built upon earlier forms of communication observed in primates, such as vocal calls and gestures. Gestures, facial expressions, and body language. Before the full emergence of spoken language, Paleolithic humans relied heavily on nonverbal communication. Gestures, facial expressions, posture, and eye contact conveyed information about emotions, intentions, and social relationships. Gestural communication was particularly useful during hunting, where silence was often necessary. Hand signals allowed hunters to coordinate movements and signal danger without alerting prey. Facial expressions conveyed trust, fear, aggression, or cooperation, helping maintain social harmony. These nonverbal cues complemented vocal sounds and likely formed the foundation upon which spoken language developed. Early spoken language.
Early spoken language likely consisted of simple sounds, words, and phrases rather than complex grammar. These vocalizations may have been used to name objects, identify animals, describe actions, and express basic emotions. Over time, vocabulary expanded, and sound combinations became more structured. This allowed for more precise communication and planning. The ability to describe past events or anticipate future actions represented a major cognitive breakthrough. Spoken language enabled rapid information exchange, increasing group efficiency and survival. Knowledge about food sources, dangers, and environmental changes could be shared quickly and accurately. Language and social cooperation. Language strengthened social cooperation within Paleolithic hunter-gatherer groups. Clear communication helped coordinate group activities, such as hunting, gathering, and migration. It also facilitated conflict resolution and reinforced social norms. Storytelling played an important role in social life. Stories transmitted knowledge, values, and cultural traditions. They helped explain natural phenomena, teach moral lessons, and strengthen group identity. Language also allowed for emotional expression, enabling individuals to share feelings, build empathy, and form deeper social bonds. Teaching and knowledge transmission. One of the most important functions of language was the transmission of knowledge. Tool-making techniques, hunting strategies, and environmental knowledge could be taught more effectively through verbal explanation combined with demonstration. This ability to teach complex skills distinguished humans from other species and contributed to cumulative cultural evolution. Each generation built upon the knowledge of the previous one, leading to technological and cultural advancement. Language also supported social learning among children, who acquired skills and norms through interaction and instruction. Symbolic communication and meaning. Language is inherently symbolic, allowing words to represent objects, actions, and ideas. This symbolic capacity extended beyond speech to include art, rituals, and material culture. Symbols allowed Paleolithic humans to convey abstract concepts such as identity, belief, and social roles. Shared symbols strengthened group cohesion and cultural continuity. The use of symbolic communication reflects advanced cognitive abilities, including imagination, abstraction, and theory of mind, the ability to understand others' perspectives. Language and belief systems. Communication played a vital role in the development of belief systems. Language allowed humans to articulate spiritual ideas, perform rituals, and pass down myths and traditions. Chants, songs, and rhythmic speech may have been used in rituals to create emotional intensity and shared experience. These practices reinforced belief systems and social unity. Language gave structure to spiritual and cultural life, helping individuals make sense of the world and their place within it. Archaeological evidence of early language. While spoken language does not fossilize, indirect evidence provides clues to its existence. Complex tools, coordinated hunting strategies, and symbolic art suggest advanced communication abilities. Burials, ritual sites, and long-distance trade networks indicate the ability to convey complex social and cultural information. These behaviors would have been difficult to sustain without effective language. Comparisons with modern hunter-gatherer societies also offer insights into how early language may have functioned in Paleolithic contexts. Cognitive impact of language. The development of language transformed human cognition. It enhanced memory, planning, and problem-solving abilities. Language allowed humans to think collectively, creating shared mental models of the world. This collective intelligence enabled large-scale cooperation and cultural innovation. Language also supported self-reflection and identity formation, contributing to emotional and psychological complexity. Conclusion. Communication and early language were central to the success of Paleolithic hunter-gatherer societies. Through gestures, vocal sounds, and symbolic systems, early humans shared knowledge, coordinated activities, and expressed meaning. The emergence of language marked a turning point in human evolution, laying the foundation for culture, technology, and social complexity. The linguistic achievements of the Paleolithic age continue to shape human interaction and identity today.
Migration and human evolution were deeply intertwined during the Paleolithic age. Early humans were not confined to a single region. They spread across continents, adapting to diverse climates, landscapes, and ecosystems. This mobility drove cultural, technological, and biological changes, shaping the evolution of modern humans. Migration also facilitated gene flow between populations, increasing genetic diversity and enhancing survival. The story of Paleolithic migration highlights humanity's adaptability, curiosity, and resilience. By tracing human dispersal patterns and evolutionary developments, we gain insight into how early hunter-gatherer societies expanded across the globe and laid the foundations for civilization. Origins in Africa. Africa is widely recognized as the cradle of humankind. Fossil and genetic evidence indicate that modern humans, Homo sapiens, first appeared in Africa approximately 300,000 years ago. Early African populations were small, mobile, and organized as hunter-gatherer bands. The rich ecosystems of Africa provided abundant resources, from savannas with large herbivores to rivers and lakes supporting fish and plant life. These conditions allowed early humans to develop advanced tools, social structures, and cultural behaviors. Migration out of Africa began tens of thousands of years later, driven by environmental changes, population pressures, and curiosity about new territories. Early dispersal into Eurasia. Around 100,000 years ago, some populations of Homo sapiens began migrating out of Africa into the Middle East, Europe, and Asia. They encountered and interacted with other human species, such as Neanderthals, Homo neanderthalensis, in Europe, and Denisovans in Asia. Migration required adaptation to new environments, including colder climates, different flora and fauna, and unfamiliar landscapes. Humans developed clothing, shelters, and hunting strategies suitable for Ice Age Europe, demonstrating remarkable flexibility. These early migrations were gradual, often following coastal routes or river valleys, which provided food, water, and navigable terrain. Archaeological evidence shows that humans moved in small groups, maintaining mobility and resource access. Expansion into Europe and Asia. By 40,000 years ago, humans had successfully colonized Europe and large parts of Asia. These populations faced harsh Ice Age conditions and had to innovate to survive. The development of sophisticated tools, fire management, and clothing enabled humans to hunt Ice Age megafauna and endure extreme cold. Interactions with Neanderthals resulted in cultural and genetic exchange. Evidence of hybridization is found in the DNA of modern non-African populations, reflecting interbreeding between species. Migration into Asia also involved adaptation to diverse environments, from dense forests to arid deserts. Humans exploited local resources, developed regional tool traditions, and established seasonal patterns of mobility. Settlement of Australia and the Pacific. One of the most remarkable Paleolithic migrations was the settlement of Australia. Humans reached the continent approximately 65,000 years ago, crossing water barriers using primitive rafts or boats. This migration demonstrates early humans' ability to navigate, plan, and exploit coastal and marine resources. In Australia, hunter-gatherer populations adapted to arid interiors, tropical forests, and coastal environments. These adaptations included specialized tools, fire management, and social strategies suited to a challenging and varied landscape. Later, humans migrated into the islands of Southeast Asia and Oceania, demonstrating long-distance navigation and remarkable adaptability. Human evolution during migration. Migration had profound effects on human evolution. Exposure to diverse environments created selective pressures that shaped physical and cognitive traits. For example, cold climates favored shorter limbs and larger body mass to conserve heat. Tropical climates favored leaner bodies for thermoregulation. Dietary diversity drove changes in dentition, jaw strength, and digestive efficiency. Migration also promoted genetic diversity through interbreeding with other human populations, strengthening disease resistance and adaptability. Cognitive and cultural evolution. Migration was not purely biological, it also accelerated cognitive and cultural evolution. Humans encountered new animals, plants, and geographical challenges, requiring problem-solving, innovation, and planning. These challenges drove technological advancements, such as new hunting tools, clothing, and shelter designs. Cultural exchange occurred when migrating groups interacted with others. Shared tool-making techniques, artistic styles, and rituals reflect the diffusion of knowledge and cultural blending. Adaptation to environmental change. Paleolithic humans frequently faced changing climates and landscapes. Glacial cycles, droughts, and sea level fluctuations forced migrations and adaptations. Populations responded by developing flexible subsistence strategies, hunting, gathering, fishing, and scavenging as resources fluctuated. Seasonal mobility, following animal migrations and plant growth cycles. Technological innovations, composite tools, projectile weapons, and fire management. These adaptations ensured survival across vast and diverse territories. Social implications of migration.
Migration shaped social organization and relationships. Mobility required cooperation, communication, and collective decision-making. Bands relied on kinship ties, shared knowledge, and reciprocal relationships to navigate unfamiliar territories. Encounters with other human populations required negotiation, trade, and occasionally conflict. These interactions influenced cultural evolution, genetic diversity, and the development of complex social strategies. Legacy of Paleolithic migration. The migrations of Paleolithic hunter-gatherers laid the foundation for the global distribution of humans. They spread not only genes but also culture, technology, and symbolic practices. Today, modern humans inhabit virtually every environment on Earth, reflecting the adaptive strategies developed during the Paleolithic Age. Understanding these migrations provides insight into human resilience, innovation, and enduring spirit of exploration. Conclusion. Migration and human evolution were defining features of the Paleolithic Age. Early humans moved across continents, adapting to diverse climates and landscapes, interacting with other human species, and developing technological and cultural innovations. These migrations influenced genetic diversity, social organization, and cognitive development, laying the groundwork for modern humans. The story of Paleolithic migration is a testament to humanity's adaptability, ingenuity, and enduring spirit of exploration.
The Paleolithic Age, spanning nearly 3 million years, laid the foundation for all subsequent human history. Though often characterized by simplicity compared to modern civilizations, hunter-gatherer societies of the Paleolithic Age demonstrated ingenuity, adaptability, and cultural sophistication. Their tools, social structures, art, language, and migration patterns shaped the trajectory of human evolution and cultural development. The legacy of the Paleolithic Age is evident in the genetic, cultural, and technological heritage of humanity. By studying this period, we gain insight into the origins of human behavior, thought, and society, and understand the deep roots of traits that continue to define us today. Technological legacy. One of the most enduring legacies of the Paleolithic Age is technology. The development of stone tools, fire, clothing, and shelters represent humanity's earliest attempts to manipulate the environment for survival. These innovations were not isolated. They evolved gradually over hundreds of thousands of years, leading to increasingly sophisticated tools and techniques. Paleolithic technological achievements laid the groundwork for later developments in the Neolithic and subsequent ages. The concept of tool-making, experimentation with materials, and problem-solving shaped humanity's ingenuity and engineering. Even today, the principles of efficiency, adaptation, and resourcefulness remain central to human innovation. Cultural and artistic heritage. Paleolithic humans were the first to express themselves through art and symbolic communication. Cave paintings, carvings, figurines, and personal ornaments reflect creativity, imagination, and abstract thought. These expressions reveal the cognitive complexity and emotional depth of early humans. The cultural heritage of the Paleolithic Age extends beyond aesthetics. Art and symbolism reinforced social cohesion, communicated shared beliefs, and supported ritual practices. These foundations influenced later religious, artistic, and philosophical developments, linking humanity's earliest symbolic thinking to modern culture. Social and ethical foundations. The ethical and social principles developed during this period, such as mutual support, fairness, and respect for community, remain central to modern societies. By studying Paleolithic social systems, we gain perspective on the origins of human morality and the social instincts that underpin civilization. Language, knowledge, and cognitive development. Paleolithic communication, including gestures,
spoken sounds, and symbolic systems enabled the transmission of knowledge across generations. Language facilitated cooperative hunting, teaching, storytelling, and ritual, forming the basis of cultural continuity. These cognitive advancements supported abstract thinking, planning, and problem-solving. They allowed humans to conceptualize the world, share experiences, and imagine possibilities beyond immediate survival. Modern human cognition is directly descended from the skills and knowledge first developed in the Paleolithic age. Adaptation and environmental awareness. Paleolithic humans demonstrated remarkable adaptability, thriving in diverse environments, from tropical forests to Ice Age tundras. Their strategies for shelter, clothing, hunting, gathering, and migration illustrate a deep understanding of ecological systems. This environmental awareness and sustainable approach to resource use represent an important legacy. Hunter-gatherer practices, including seasonal mobility, resource management, and ecological knowledge, foreshadowed principles of conservation that are still relevant today. Genetic and evolutionary legacy. The Paleolithic age shaped human evolution in profound ways. Migration, interbreeding with Neanderthals and Denisovans, and adaptation to diverse climates influenced genetic diversity, immunity, and physical traits in modern populations. Traits such as endurance, cognitive flexibility, and social cooperation were honed through survival pressures, ensuring that humans could thrive in varied and challenging environments. The evolutionary legacy of the Paleolithic age continues to shape health, behavior, and resilience in contemporary populations. Influence on later societies. The transition from hunter-gatherer societies to agricultural communities built directly on Paleolithic foundations. Knowledge of plants and animals, technological innovation, social cooperation, and symbolic thinking enabled the development of agriculture, permanent settlements, and complex civilizations. Even as humans moved into the Neolithic age, the lessons of mobility, resourcefulness, and social cohesion remained relevant. Many aspects of Paleolithic life, such as diet diversity, tool-making principles, and cultural expression, persisted and evolved in later societies. Lessons for modern humanity. The Paleolithic age offers enduring lessons for modern humanity. It highlights the importance of adaptability, cooperation, and knowledge transmission in survival. It shows the value of creativity, art, and symbolic thinking in shaping culture and identity. Studying Paleolithic societies also encourages reflection on sustainability and environmental awareness. Early humans lived in balance with their environment, exploiting resources efficiently and adapting to change without permanently damaging ecosystems. This perspective is increasingly relevant in addressing contemporary environmental challenges. Conclusion. The Paleolithic age represents a remarkable chapter in human history, characterized by survival, innovation, and creativity. Hunter-gatherer societies developed tools, art, language, social systems, and migration strategies that shaped human evolution and culture. Their legacy is evident in modern technology, social organization, cognition, art, and environmental awareness. Understanding the Paleolithic age reminds us that humanity's strengths, adaptability, cooperation, and knowledge transmission have deep roots. These foundations not only ensured survival in the distant past, but continue to guide our development and resilience today. The story of the Paleolithic age is ultimately the story of humanity itself, a testament to ingenuity, cultural richness, and the enduring human spirit.